In the last video, we had a look at these different volumes, so the inspiratory reserve volume, expiratory reserve volume, and the residual volume. And this was really kind of to explain to you the understanding, so you've got your understanding of what they all mean and what it looks like on the spirometer trace. Now we need to think about what it would look like when we are exercising and how this might change. So what I want you to do is have a little think about what might happen here with tidal volume when we start exercising. So during exercise, do you think that stays the same, or might that change somehow? And if it does change, how does that impact on inspiratory reserve volume and on expiratory reserve volume? Let's have a little look and see what happens. Keep your eye on the tidal volume bar here, and let's have a look at what happens. So remember, we're looking at during exercise now. You can see that there's an increase in tidal volume, and the reason for that is because we now have an increase in our breathing rate and the depth of breathing, which means the depth of breathing refers particularly to tidal volume. And so tidal volume increases. That's a key word, key concept to understand. Tidal volume increases, and by definition then, because tidal volume has increased, you'll notice that the distance here between the top of tidal volume and the maximum amount we can breathe in has decreased. So inspiratory reserve volume has decreased, and similarly down here the expiratory reserve volume has also decreased. However, bear in mind, please remember that the residual volume remains the same. Now, just to finish off on this, let's have a little look at how you could be examined on this. It's quite likely that you would be shown something that looks not dissimilar to this, a spirometer trace, and you might well be asked to label certain key areas. So hopefully you're familiar with that area there. So you might be asked to label that. You might be asked what this area is. You might be asked to label that, and that area, and down here. Okay, so those are two important points, I think, really. First is make sure you know the definitions of each of these, and make sure you're able to label a graph correctly. I haven't seen students having to actually draw this out. It may be possible that you're asked to do that. It's more likely that you're going to be asked to label one of these.